Dear friends, it has been an overwhelming last couple of days as we have watched with just sheer horror what has unfolded in Eretz Yisrael, the terrible tragedy that has claimed the lives of hundreds, has resulted in the injury of thousands, the abduction of innocent men, women, and children into Gaza. It's beyond comprehension. Sometimes I think that we see things that are just so terrible and so catastrophic and so overwhelming, and the mind thinks to itself that this must be the worst thing that could possibly happen. I remember just a few months ago when Lucy Dia Hashem Yikom Dama and her daughters were gunned down. I remember thinking to myself, a mother with two children murdered. For what? For traveling on a road in Eretz Yisrael. And you think to yourself, this must be the worst thing that we could ever conjure up. And now we see the images coming out of Eretz Yisrael. And we see again people being murdered in their homes, people being taken captive. It doesn't even compute. And I think for those of us in Chutz La'aretz, it was complicated. We heard this information on Shabbos morning, but I think didn't really grasp the enormity of the situation until we turned on the news last night. And then we're simply overwhelmed by what it is that we've been seeing. Overwhelmed. And the question, of course, I think we're all grappling with is, what do we do? How do we navigate these difficult circumstances? What is our avoda? What is our sacred mission during these difficult times? Dear friends, I'd like to share with you just a couple of points. Number one is our primary avoda is to feel the pain of our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael. Often when it comes to pain and when it comes to discomfort, so almost like the reflexive reaction is to go and try to figure out, how could I minimize the pain? Or how could I rid myself of the pain? How could I circumvent the pain? But what it means to be a Yid, what it means to be a Jew, what it means to be a member of Klal Yisrael, is to be nosei ba'olim chaveiro, is to feel the pain of your people. And yes, it is terribly unpleasant to feel pain, and it tears your heart into a million little pieces. But that is the sacred avodah we have as members of this great nation. We celebrate together, and we mourn together. The world has changed. Klal Yisrael has changed. Eretz Yisrael has changed. Shmini Atzeres, the very fabric of this Yom Tiv, has changed. Everything has changed. And I don't even think we've begun to absorb the full enormity of the change. Families that have been decimated, widows and orphans, generations disrupted, precious soldiers, you hear the accounts of how soldiers were literally shielding civilians with their bodies. These are our sons and daughters, the precious members of Tzahal, and now bereaved parents, bereaved children. The change, the ripple effects of the change, we haven't even, I'm sure, I know those, I'm saying in Chutz La'aretz, we have not even yet begun to absorb the enormity. But I have to allow the pain to course through me. And it's unpleasant. But you have to feel the pain of your people. Life cannot go on as normal today. It's true, we have to go about our activities of daily living. I have to go to work. I have to take care of my house. I have to take care of my kids. I have to do all these different things, yes. But we also have to allow ourselves to feel the enormity of the tzara, of the difficulty that Klal Yisrael is currently undergoing. Not underwent, but is currently undergoing. We see the massive mobilizations of soldiers. Behind every one of those soldiers is a mother, is a father, is a husband, is a wife, our children. Behind everybody we see the videos of the soldiers going out and everybody's giving food, and the soldiers again waving the flags and beautiful smiles. And behind each of those soldiers is a family that's not going to sleep tonight. There's someone who's going to toss and turn, not knowing where their beloved Chayal is. And Chevra, we who don't have that same level of skin in the game, we who do not have that same level of Mesiras Nefesh, at least have to shoulder the feelings of pain, the feelings of angst, together with our brothers and sisters. That there are families who don't know the whereabouts of their loved ones. They don't know. Have they been killed? Have they been taken hostage? We have to feel that. We have to feel that. I'm going to be zocha to go home and I could put my arms on my children and leave my children in Eretz Yisrael. I know where they are. I know what they're up to. I know that they're safe. I know that they're secure. And the notion that there are families in Am Yisrael who don't know the whereabouts of their loved ones. That's something we have to feel in our hearts. I can't run away from the pain. My obligation as a member of this sacred nation is to feel that pain and allow it to course through me. Because I'll tell you something amazing. When you share the pain of your people, whether we realize it or not, you are lightening the load of others. You see, what does it mean to be nosei ba'olim chavero? What does it mean to shoulder the load with your fellow? You know, if you could imagine, when there's a load to be carried, the more people that support it, the lighter it becomes for everyone. Those Jews who are heartbroken, they don't know who I am. I don't know who most of them are. But on a ruchni level, when I allow myself to feel their pain, and when I say Ribono Shel Olam, I want to hold up Klal Yisrael together with these broken mishpachos, with these broken individuals. On some level, on some way, it lightens the load even for those who are suffering. That's number one. Share in the burden. Number two, we have to daven. And I know that, I hate to say it, it sounds cliche to daven. But the truth is, tefillah is one of the most powerful and impactful tools that we have. Tefillah allows us to storm the gates of Shamayim, and tefillah often allows us to express from our hearts often what we can't express in just a normal lexicon, in a normal vocabulary. Tefillah allows me to spill out my heart before the Ribono Shel Olam, and even if I don't say exactly how I feel, the Ribon HaOlam HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the Bochin Levavos, who knows what is inside every single heart. He knows what's in my tefillos. He knows how much and how badly I want the salvation for Klal Yisrael. He knows that all I want more than anything is Machashem Dima Me'al Kapayim Shir. Just dry the tears. Just somehow bring some type of solution to this terrible crisis. Somehow lift up all those who are broken. Please, Ribono Shel Olam, deliver a Yeshua and empower our precious soldiers to be impactful and successful in all of their endeavors as well. There's another piece. We have to give tzedakah. We are Baruch Hashem, it's Mika Amcha Yisrael. There are so many different opportunities to be able to give. And I think since the time that Yom Tiv ended, we've been solicited by a million different organizations, all doing incredible work. Here in our shul, we're going to create one central fund. And hopefully, again, we'll collect a keren, we'll collect a certain amount, we'll be able to give to different needs at different times and to be able to help in an impactful fashion. Another piece, number 4. It is important for us to realize that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And I know it sounds strange to maybe say those words right now. You know, we have a concept, the Gemara says that mi shemeso muta lafanav. When someone has lost a loved one in the body, the corpse is right there. You are not allowed to utter words of tanchumin, words of consolation, because they're premature. They're not right. The body is there. The loss is so fresh. The words of consolation often fall on deaf ears. So to a certain degree, Klal Yisrael, we are in a state right now of meso muta lafanav. The dead have not yet been buried. The families have not yet had the opportunity to even say goodbye. But because this is such an overwhelming experience for our people, it is important for us to be forward-thinking as well. Just in this week's parasha, we're going to read Bereshis bara Elokim es hashamayim ve'es haaretz. The Ribon Shalom created a new world, and the Medrash brings down that before the Ribon Shalom created this world, there were many others that came before it. And they were destroyed. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu created our world. And it always struck me that Ribono Shel Olam could do anything and everything. He could get it right on the first time. Why the need to create multiple worlds before ours? Just to have them destroyed and then build ours. I think Kodesh Baruch Hu was teaching us an incredible and overwhelming lesson. That out of every act of destruction, something new is born. Out of every act of destruction, something new is born. Bereshis bara Elokim is not the first thing that happened. There were multiple worlds that were destroyed. And then and only then, Bereshis bara Elokim. If there is one thing we know as a nation, it is that out of destruction comes building. That out of destruction comes life. That out of destruction comes vitality. As we say to a little baby boy at 8 days old at his bris, Va'amar lach bidamayich chayi. It's such a strange thing to say to a little boy. We say to you, with your blood you will live. We're teaching our children from the time that they're 8 days old that from destruction and from loss comes life, comes vitality, and comes rebuilding. We are still busy with burying our dead. But at the same time, we must keep in our minds that we as a nation will come out of this stronger. We will rebuild. We're going to rebuild with a broken heart. And we're going to rebuild different people than we were before the catastrophic events of Shmini Atzeres. Worlds were destroyed. But in the aftermath of the destruction of those worlds, Bereshis bara Elokim es hashamayim v'ha'aretz, we will rebuild. And we will rebuild something beautiful. And we will rebuild something holy. And we will, with the assistance of the Ribono Shel Olam, rebuild something which reflects the luminescent vitality of Klal Yisrael. And you may hear these words. Maybe you'll say to yourself, too soon. I can't hear this message right now. Maybe you'll even say inappropriate. That's not the message right now. But it's true. And it's this message we have to keep in the back of our hearts, in the back of our soul through these trying days. Dear friends, you know, the coming days, halavai, it should just be days, but who knows what it's going to be. But the tekufa, the chapter ahead of us, is going to be difficult. And is going to be fraught with challenge, with sadness, and with suffering. And as we see the levayas continue to unfold, our hearts, just as maybe they begin to mend a little bit, will just be reshattered and rebroken over and over again. But in those moments of brokenness, we have to remember that from every destroyed world, a new world is rebuilt. From every act of destruction, something magnificent is built. Right now, we're in the period of destruction. But in Meretz Hashem, we will be zocheh to see the days of Bereshis bara Elokim, es hashamayim v'ha'aretz. From this tragedy and from these ashes, Klal Yisrael will get back up. Klal Yisrael will rebuild a new world. And it will be built on the memory of all of those who were taken from us. Rebuilt with broken hearts of collective Klal Yisrael. But a new Bria, a new creation will emerge. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu give us the strength to weather these difficult times. May each of us be zocheh to rise to the occasion in different ways and do what we can for the benefit of our people. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu finally usher in a period of shalom, a period of geula, a period of Mashiach, and may we be zocheh Amiras Hashem to see those days bekaraf.